Yeah. Again, I'm behind of changing the background. There you go. We're better now. You know, you can't get the staff these days.
No,
I
it's
don't
just
know
thinking
what
the
it
same
is.
myself.
Yeah, but you just moan about anything anyway. You know, you just moan about VAR and referees, and you're like the Simon Jordan or THFC till I die. I mean, that's who you are. I'm just going to call you Simon Jordan from now on. You know.
Okay,
You got his
talking to
hair,
yourself,
look.
then.
You got his glasses. You know, there is a resemblance between you and Simon Jordan, Philip.
I've yet to see one, but I think I will.
Well, no, you're both controversial in your remarks. You're both very. You stand by what you say. You're both successful businessmen.
I don't know about that.
You're both high flying in the world you're in, and I think you edged Simon Jordan by about a bit, really, to myself. But there you go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to THFC Till I Die, your home of Tottenham past, present, and exciting future. As I just boost Philip's ego just a bit more when it doesn't need inflating anymore.
Boost it. Flatten it. Boost it.
Have I put my big 10 my size 12s on your ego, have I, Philip?
Yeah, yes.
How do I boost up your ego? Just call you Tom Jones. So I just tell you
Don't call me anything. Don't call me anything.
Yeah. Okay. Number 2, I should call you then.
Hold on. Hang on one second. Hold on.
Okay. He's telling the I don't know what he's up to, but anyway, let's see who's in the chat. And we've got Stephen Cartwright here. Evening, all. Big up, Stephen. Hope you're doing well, sir. And hope you're having a good weekend. Philip, what a way to start the week. A super chat in here from Wembley 1, where Spurs could be heading to after Friday. Just that closer. Do you want to read the super chat out, Mr. Brady?
Yes. Afternoon, everyone. Pleasing to hear that evidently Haaland will be missing for City come Friday night. Great news if he is. You know, I mean, I know we haven't let a goal in to City at home yet in the new stadium, but with Haaland around, you always think the possibility is there. So that's good. That's great news. And thank you so much for the super chat. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you, Wembley. We know it's a tough time for everyone out there. So when you do send one in, it really is. Well, we appreciate it so much.
Philip. Absolutely.
All your members. Members wise, there's a lot of member stuff coming up now the next few days. Of course, Philip is away on his holidays again. I don't know which mission he's going for the Irish government this time. I think it's to find out where he can get the best bread and beer from. Or is that the plan?
Mission Impossible, though.
Mission Impossible was that. Do we need to get Tom Cruise in to come to replace you?
Just make a change on Tom Jones, I suppose. Yeah.
Anyone that watches Spitting Image, do you know the little Tom Cruise that comes in?
Yeah.
That's who's going to come in and help Philip when he's away. Here, I'm Tom Cruise. I'd help you, Philip. So look, so yeah, we really appreciate it and thank you so much. And it keeps me and Philip doing what we love doing, which is talking nonsense and talking football, basically. Well, I talk nonsense. Philip talks sensible, to be fair. If we're going to be honest about it.
I thought you were going to say that the other way around there.
No, and we do live in the combined county of Wexstrom.
That's right.
Yeah, there you go.
It's still around after the wind last night, thanks to the God.
It did blow a little bit to the left, but we've taken it back to the centre again. So Dave, you're still the number 2 Irish Spurs fan in Ireland. Me and Philip, of course, are number 1. And I'm expecting a retribution from him on this when I go onto the van show later.
Swift and merciless for that, I'll tell you.
Yeah, anyway, big up to Carl Simpson. Cannot help but feel that this music should belong to a 1980s question.
Yeah. Fortunately, we're sort of stuck with copyright. You can't play anything that's gonna.
I know. It's ridiculous. It's so hard, isn't it, Philip? It's so hard. Yeah. And I've got an idea of the perfect intro for this channel, but it's getting it together.
Yeah.
It's in my head. I know what I want. I know what I want to project to you guys.
It's stupid. Do you know that video I sent you the other day? Just a quick travelogue I did around the lake here. I put on music from, I don't know where it was from. It was supposed to be non-copyright music. I got copyrighted on it, even though it was non-copyright music. You know?
Oh, for God's sake, it's ridiculous. We've got Greg sent out. Big up, Greg. He says, "Good afternoon, What's that, Philip? The Derminator.
The Derminator.
The Derminator. Philip, big up. We've got Matthew. We've got big up Matthew. There you go, Matthew. We've got the gloves on. It says big up my
Matthew.
comrade Dermot and comrade Philip. Does Matthew think we're back in the Cold War or something here, Philip? Do you think?
I think we're back in 1989 Russia at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Are you Gorbachev or Stalin? Which one are you?
Not Yeltsin, anyway.
I love Yeltsin. He was funny. He was funny. That man was hilariously funny. I remember watching the news one night, right, and he jumped up on top of somebody was playing music, and he jumped onto the stage and he started slapping the women's backsides.
I remember that. He was pissed, didn't he, where he was?
Yeah. And you look at, can you imagine RT Shock doing that, or the British Prime Minister doing that? I
can imagine some of the previous ones doing it, who should remain nameless.
I can imagine Boris Johnson.
Charlie High. Boris Johnson.
Could you imagine Boris Johnson and Charlie Hottie together in charge of each country at the same time?
Lock up your daughters.
Yeah, okay. Well, that was a big up to Ollie. Ollie's at the wheel. It says Philip is a traveling pro. He is.
Okay.
Yeah. Carl Simpson, no Adele. She said she needs someone to play the drums on her Vegas residency. The gentleman he is, he said no problem.
How could you turn down a fellow Spurs fan?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. So true. I like Adele. She's a big Spurs fan as well, by the way.
I have to say, I don't know her music. Style of music isn't really what I listen to, so I admire what she's doing, but I wouldn't recognize her even on the radio. That's how little I know about Adele.
Yeah. Dermo, we cannot superimpose your head on Magic Mike scene. Oh dear. Quickly moving on.
Please do.
Now Philip is Lennon and Dermot is Gorbachev. No, hang on a minute here. Right?
Where's my ice pick?
No, hang on a minute here. I'm not the one with less hair. No offense, Philip, but you should be Gorbachev.
All right, okay.
Well, look, I've got no offense.
Have you got the map of Russia on your forehead, though? You know the birthmark used to have?
No, you have. I'm going to put it on there later for you.
Okay.
We've got the aggressive pony who popped in yesterday when we were doing the Celtic watch along. Great to see you back again, sir. It says that's very rude, but also very sexy.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but welcome back. The news has slowed down. It has. This is why we haven't reported it, isn't it, Philip?
We don't know. It's only a rumor at the moment, so you know, we don't do rumors.
We don't do rumors. No, we just do fact.
We'll mention it if it's a rumor, but specifically say this is a rumor, not a fact. Yeah.
Can I just say now, this is a rumor. The newest news has slowed down. That is a rumor. Listen. And then Greg said at Matthew Dermo is. Do you want to read this out?
It's Khrushchev shouting, "We will bury you at Woolwich." You know, Khrushchev did in the United Nations back in 1961. He took off his shoe and he said, "Bang it on the table like that." So that's what I'd be doing.
Oh, dear. You're fucking crazy. Do you know that? You're really. And Matthew's just so falling around the room at Greg what he said. He can't stop laughing, and Matthew's partner's looking at him thinking, "You're crazy." And then Carl says, "We seem to be talking to multiple younger players." Yeah, we are at the moment.
That seems to be the policy now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now, Philip, it's been a weekend of big news in football world. The Man City commercial director has left Man City to go to Man United.
Yes.
Look, for me, he was in charge of the time when Man City are now being looked into. Now, is he leaving because he's going to a bigger club, or is he leaving because he knows there's trouble down the line that he can see something on the horizon, Philip? What's your sort of guess on it?
That's the $1 million question. Like, he's obviously in the know. He knows more what's going on than most people because he's in the middle of it. He would be aware of any requests that have come in from the FA and otherwise for documentation and whatever. So I would say he has taken the route of I'm getting out of here before we hit the iceberg.
So
you know, I think he's no. I'm not going to call Manchester City a sinking ship. They will be if they're found guilty of all these charges because there's no way out of it. They're going to get relegated. That's it. But he's probably seen. He'll probably argue he's been in the job long enough and he's got stale. He's there 8 or 9 years now, and he wants to go somewhere else. But to move down the road to your neighbours isn't exactly very subtle, is it?
No, it's not. It happened before, hasn't it? Man United, Man City players and people have moved from one era. I mean, Matt Busby played for Man City back in the day, went on to manage Manchester United to one of their most successful eras. Dennis Law's gone from Man United to Man City, relegated them in '73. So look, my view of this all, Philip, I hope United have done the due diligence on him. Because this could come back to bite Man United on the ass. If this,
well, like Paratici came back to bite us for a while there.
Well, it didn't really, because Paratici still worked as a consultant, Philip. So,
oh no, but there was still the sort of the stain of what he did in Juventus would sort of stick to. It stuck a little bit to Tottenham. Even we handled it well. We handled it well, and we put him in as a consultant. So
I think he was a scapegoat for what happened at Juventus. Personally, that's my personal view. I think he was a scapegoat. So that broke, Philip. Also what broke over the weekend, which is quite funny, is this quote from Bayern Munich legend Lothar Matthäus. Now, he gives us brutal honesty in the thoughts on club decision to sign Eric Dyer. Now, this is what he said in his sort of half of what he said. I only took a bit out of the interview he had. And he says, Bayern need more depth and reinforcements, but these players' reinforcements, Eric Dyer wasn't necessarily a key player at Tottenham recently. I remember Yoli Hornes, a Bayern honorary president, once saying that we won't be bringing in any more players who are sitting on the bench at other clubs. The latest transfer looks different. Matthäus then added about Kieran Trippier, who's been linked with Bayern Munich as well, Philip. Would be a similar case. That's not Bayern Munich for me. Bayern should be focused on reinforcements or on the young players. Alexander Pavlovic sat out against Bremen and wasn't substituted. When he did play, he was always outstanding. What are you taking on that, Philip? Do you think Lothar Matthäus, who is a legendary player for Bayern Munich, captain of the World Cup Germany side of 1990, has he a point?
Yeah, he has a point. But I mean, okay, we're all surprised Eric Dyer went to Bayern Munich. It's probably the last destination on earth, and one of them you would have thought of if you asked where's Eric Dyer going to end up.
Yeah,
you probably would have said Ipswich Town or Hull City or someone, but no, Bayern Munich. Yeah, he is sitting on the bench, and I don't know why. I think Harry Kane has a lot to do with this transfer, But the Kieran Trippier one, his comments on Trippier are not quite accurate. Kieran Trippier is not on the bench in Newcastle. He's a regular starter. In fact, he's a vital member of the Newcastle team. So to me, Kieran Trippier is a much more logical signing for Bayern Munich than Eric Dyer is. Now, again, Kieran Trippier is coming to Bayern Munich, I'd say, purely to bail Newcastle out of FFP. But I take his point over Dyer. No one can understand that one. But Trippier is a different kettle of fish. If Bayern are quite right to buy Trippier, I know he's 32 or 33, but he's a good proven player with a great free kick on him, and that's probably why they've gone for him. This Pavlovic guy, probably a young lad, will have his time. We'll have his time.
Now, I watched Bayern Munich yesterday. I watched the match, and I was so disappointed with Bayern Munich. Now, I gave a stat yesterday, Philip, and I said to you earlier, which you couldn't believe. You nearly fell off your chair when I told you this, that Bayern Munich have not kept a clean sheet since last February. So you're coming up to nearly a year since Bayern Munich kept the last clean sheet.
Incredible.
Look, the Trippier thing for me, I think it's a bad move for Trippier. I don't think this would be a good. I do, because Newcastle are on the way up, right? They could get a few more players in. They could be on the way up. Now, is Trippier's problems off the field a factor in this, do you think, Philip?
Could be.
Newcastle trying to shift him out because they don't want any of the off-field problems affecting morale within the squad or morale within the club. Do you think that could be another reason as well?
Are these the off-field problems nobody talks about, but everybody knows what they are?
Yeah,
right. We'll all mention them anyway. Could well be. Yeah, absolutely. Like he went through a horrendous time there about a month ago where everything went wrong for him. But that again, like, I mean, I still think this could be also to do partly what you say there about the morale in the dressing room and whatever coming down the track. I think it's a financial thing as well for Newcastle.
Yeah, I probably agree with you.
They see a chance of getting a few bob for a player. Let's face it, he's well in his 30s now.
Yeah,
he's 32 or 33. I'm not quite sure what he is, but I can see where the Mateus is coming from. He wants the young Bayern Munich players given a chance. I can understand that. And but like, let's face it, Thomas Tuchel is under a lot of pressure now from a lot of like Leverkusen are walking away with the league, right?
What, they 8 points clear now? Yeah, 8 points clear.
Yeah. Harry Kane has come in, and Harry Kane, like, I would not like to see where Bayern Munich would be at the moment without Harry Kane.
No,
they'd probably be third or fourth in the league if that.
And I tell you one thing, Philip, he wasn't all that special yesterday, by the way.
No, but I'm just saying, like, up to now, he's been phenomenal. Like, he's ahead of the goal scoring record for the Bundesliga at halfway house and all this. Like, he has been really good for them up to now. He can't play well every game, but I think I can see what'll happen in Bayern Munich if they don't gain ground on Leverkusen by, say, the end of February. I can see Tuchel getting the bullet. And whoever comes in then, it's very interesting to see what his reaction is to the likes of Dyer, Trippier coming into the club.
Yeah, I can. I can. Look, for me, Philip, I think the Eric Dyer thing was a surprise to everyone why he went there, and why Tuchel will want to buy him, I don't know. As for the Trippier thing, look, I can see that rumbling on. He will end up at Bayern Munich, in my view. When either now or in the summer, he will happen. But will Tuchel still be there? And that's the problem. This is the problem with the likes of Harry Kane and all that. Have when he goes, will the manager that comes in want to keep a certain Harry Kane or Eric Dyer or Trippier?
They want to keep Harry Kane. You certainly want to keep Harry Kane, but with the other two, it's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah. Also, Philip, over the weekend, Tottenham Hotspur did snub an offer from Saudi Arabia for Al Nasser, for a completely different person who we didn't think they would be putting a bid in for, to sign Emerson Royale. HITC Football understands that Tottenham have rejected a bid in excess of £20 million for the defender Emerson Royale. Look, I was very critical of Emerson in his early days, and I was ready to say he wasn't a good player. He's the only player out of Brazil to come out and not be Brazilian. I was very harsh on him, I have to say, and probably rightly so. But as Dave says, and other people have said, he was the only player to put his hand in his pocket to go to a sports therapist to sort out whatever the problem was.
Yeah,
he knuckled down, and to be fair to him, Philip, he's improved. Yep. And when he was called upon to play in the centre-back for Tottenham in our recent injury crisis, he was the one that stood up. He was the one that put in decent performances when he's not in the centre-back. So I wouldn't want to sell Emerson. A lot of people think he's not good enough, Philip, still now. A lot of people think he should be sold. But I wouldn't sell Emerson. I like him around the club. I think he's good for the dressing room. He's good for morale. He gives everything, and I think Ange likes that. Where are you on it? Would you sell him? Would you keep him?
Well, keep him. I mean, as you rightly say, he stood up during the injury crisis, did what he had to do. And I mean, it's such a change. I remember this time last year, he was trying to get a club because he couldn't get a game under Conte, and he was disillusioned with the whole club, as were a lot of us. But now what he's done is, as you say, he went off during the summer and he paid a sports psychologist or whatever to get his head together, as well as his fitness. And look at him now. And I mean, okay, I'm beginning to wonder what he thinks about us turning him down. Well, is he disappointed, or is he glad to know that he's still in Ange's plans by turning him down? So, it could be a push for him to try and keep a spot in the team. Although I think that from now on, he's a bench player if we get our players back. But no, I would certainly keep him because we don't have a squad big enough to be letting players go. No. Okay, you let players like Dyer go, who aren't going to feature. But you'll keep a player like Emerson who has shown that he loves the club and is willing to go the extra mile for them.
Yeah, look, I think you're right, Philip, and I think Emerson will stay, and I think he should stay, to be fair. Big up to Matthew. Now. Dermot, you know what was the logo of Bayern Munich in 1940? Will you ask? And I shall give you. There is there it is, the one in the middle there from 1923 to 1954 was the logo for FC Bayern Munich. It's changed over the few years, hasn't it, Philip, to be fair?
I'm trying to figure out where the BMFC. Yeah, it's a funny one that funny, you know, when I saw 1940, I thought, my God, there's going to be some Nazi memorabilia or swastika or something in this, you know. But there's not. There's not.
So there you go, Matthew.
No,
that's
very normal, actually. Very normal.
There you go, Matthew. Hope that's happy. You ask, and I shall deliver. As we always do in this channel. We've got Peter M. Well, with Dyer playing, that won't keep any clean sheets. Come on, Louvre occasionally. Exactly. We've got Carl Simpson. We have to remember Tuchel is a Spurs fan. Yeah, he is actually.
And I buy Munich trying to buy the Spurs team by default. They bought Kane, they bought Dyer, and now they're going for Trippier. Who's next?
Yeah, Dele Alli.
three of them they've got. Yeah.
Dele Alli. We got what Mateus doesn't get is that Kane wants his mates there with him. He's got clout.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
actually,
true.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Big up to Peter M. Sorry, big up Peter M. And big up to Philip as well. And also, someone saying massive big up to DJ Samuel as well. Big up DJ Samuel. Afternoon Coys. Peter M says. Peter M says Emerson won't be let go until we have 4 new centre backs. So far, we are 1 short. He's needed as cover for centre back. Of course, he's usually positioned the right back. That's very true as well, Philip, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Big up to Luke Chapman as well. Big up from Northampton. John Brady signs new improved contract as manager of Northampton Town. Cobbler's boss signs new deal. Now, there's a few angry faces. I don't think he's happy with that, Philip.
He gets happier as it goes along, though.
No, it doesn't. Does it?
It does. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, does he? No, not really. Sorry. No, it's getting less angry. It'd be the best way of putting it. Yeah.
Who is the fake merchants that told me that it was controversial? I don't know.
What that's
wasn't
about?
Wasn't us, Matthew. Greg Selner is crying, and then and a few things. DJ Samuel says, my other team, Newport County, got Manchester United at home in the FA Cup this week.
Yeah, I know.
Big game for Man United against the mighty Newport County. Can you see an upset there?
As they put it up, Manchester United caused a great upset when they beat Wigan. So
yeah.
Who knows? Who
knows? We've got Greg Selner with breaking news, Philip. Bayern have bidded €8 million for Ricky Villa.
Yeah, if they bid 10, they can have Aussie dealers as well, you know. So.
And Peter M is buying in the Spurs doom loop this season. Yeah, I think
the show Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich, Dyer goes to Bayern Munich, and everything falls apart for them.
It does show that, and also Carl Simpson says Bayern can have Skip Højbjerg for the same players in return. Yeah, there you go. Didn't Højbjerg come from Bayern Munich?
Yeah, he's played for them already. Yeah.
Now, we've tried to keep the lighter stuff to start off with. We are going to talk about the VAR decisions over the weekend as well, guys. There's a few decisions, of course, the Tony decision, the penalties at a few of the games, and we're going to get Philip's views on them. But, Philip, we're going to touch on a subject which I think is a little bit... It's a bit delicate, isn't it, this subject, what we're going to... And
it's delicate, but it's becoming far too often.
Now, a lot of people know that at AC Milan over the weekend, AC Milan walked off to the pitch after their goalkeeper was given racially abused from the crowd from, I think it's Udinese at the weekend. Also, Philip, there was a racial incident at the Sheffield Wednesday, who were they playing? Coventry game, where Sheffield, a section of, not all of them, a small section of Sheffield Wednesday fans abused the Coventry player at the weekend. Now, he went to talk to the referee. The referee went over to the corner of the pitch where a bottle was thrown from the crowd at the players. I don't know if that was a director at the player involved that was being racially abused, or it was thrown at the referee, whatever. Now, though, he went over to the referee and talked to the managers. Now, let's start with the AC Milan one first, Philip. Were AC Milan right to walk off the pitch over the weekend?
Yeah. I mean, racial abuse of coloured players in Italy is probably the worst country in Europe for us. They have a lot of anti-immigration, right-wing people there that take out their frustrations of football matches by abusing black players. And I think Maicon was absolutely right to do what he did. Absolutely spot on. It just shows you these guys will not win. But my biggest point is, I mean, and obviously, what can the FA do about it? What can FIFA do? UEFA do about it? On the ground, when a guy is shouting racial abuse from the terrorists, it's up to the stewards and the law, the policemen at the game, to deal with it there and then. There's enough stewards around to know where this abuse is coming from, and they should be able to act. Take the guy out, bring him into the tunnel, and have the police arrest him, and that should be the end of it. You know, UEFA can't really. What can they do? They can come out with a directive. I think you're going to mention a directive later, Dermot, where if a team is abused and his team walk off the pitch, the other team gets a default and lose the match by default. Isn't that what you're?
That's what the FIFA president was saying.
Yeah. So maybe that's an answer. I don't think so. I think it has to be dealt with at source. There's enough stewards. You see the stewards at Tottenham, Dermot. There's one every 2 feet.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's just the call I have to take, Dermot. I'll come back in a second.
Okay. Look, for me on this, guys, look, it doesn't. It's wrong what happened over the weekend, and AC Milan were right to walk off the pitch. Racism has no place in our society or football and our sport whatsoever. But people are afraid to point people out because they're afraid of the repercussions that they could get from that person. Now, if the steward's a victim, that's great, but what's the police going to do? Damn all. I think there has to be tougher sentences on fans that do get evicted for racially abuse. If they've got season tickets, have their season tickets revoked. There should be a banning order on fans. Look, it isn't every fan that should have been tarred with the same brush, but it will be, because a small minority of knobheads with no brains in their skull think it is right to racially abuse a professional footballer, a fellow human being who has feelings, whose parents could be in the crowd, his wife could be in the crowd, whose son or daughter could be in the crowd. And some of these idiots think it's okay to do what they're doing. Now, is it a football problem? No. Is it a society problem? Hell yeah. Then that's down to the governments of the land to put in laws that stops, if you are going to racially abuse anyone, either in the street or in the football stadium, that you're hit with a hard sanction, either 6 months in prison. You soon stop doing that. If you got sent away for 6 months for racially abusing a player, you will stop. You will not want to do that again, because you know what's going to happen. Then if you do it again, you add, say, 3 months, then you add another 3 months. So there's ways of this being dealt with. But as people, I want to see what the chat thinks, because for me, this is a very subject that I actually believe in, that it should be stopped. Carl Simpson says Milan were 100% to walk off the pitch, right to walk off the pitch. These pile of crap supporters are ruining it for everyone else. Completely embarrassing. And you are right, for Carl. It is ruining it for every other fan that goes to a game that are normal of society. These people that are racially abusing these people are not properly part of society. They've got no brains in their head. I mean, I don't go to Tottenham to think, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to racially abuse a player. It wouldn't come into my head. It wouldn't even come into my thinking. But there's people, either it's due to drink or it's due with getting caught up within the moment, that they're saying to them, and it's no excuse. It's no excuse for doing what they're doing. And they have to stop. And it's down to PHILLIP is right. It is down to the stewards of the game or the police. But is it got to a point where fans are afraid of the repercussions that they would get from that section, or if there's a few of them together? Is it that? I don't know. I don't know, but they were right. Carl Simpson said, if I was Minigan, I would hand in the transfer request. Yeah, I would too, actually. Maicon, I would. Absolutely. Big up, Carl. PHILLIP, how can you forget the main thing about Italy? Well, that's going back to the 1940s, but I get your point, Matthew. Peter M, big up, Matthew. Most Premier League fans are okay. You have to go down to divisions in England to find really bad behaviour. Yeah, you do. You really do. We've got Matthew. Arsenal fans do it to Sonny so many times. I will never forgive them. Every one of our players they do, and nothing's done about it. Nothing is done about it because the football authorities, the clubs, the football authorities, the police do not want to do anything about it. It's nothing. It's to them, it's nothing. We've got a super chat here from Nithan Passard. I haven't seen you for a long while, guys. Nithan, God, where have you been hiding? It says, hey guys, I'm back after another break. Had a successful surgery. Well, thank God. I'm glad you're better. And I hope everyone is doing great. Because, well, firstly, we hope you're doing all right. We really do.
Yeah.
And then it's great to have you back, Philip. Thank you so much for the super chat. So do you want to say anything to Nathan?
Well, Nathan, yeah, thanks. It's great to see you back in again. I'm delighted to hear that whatever you had, procedures you had went well. So that let's hope that the Tottenham results over the next few months now will, keep you in good spirits and keep you, coming back into us and having a crack with us, because we enjoy people like you coming in and especially for the super chat. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, it really means a lot. Matthew says, Peter Rem, they're becoming a fascist again, which is very dangerous. Did you just see the protests and all? Yeah, there was. We were talking about that, weren't we, Philip, behind the scenes, but it's not something we want to get into. In a country, Peter Rem says, like Italy, where racism is more socially acceptable, walking off is one of the few ways to protest. Even the players will be criticised. Sad situation, but then look at the government. Philip, look, is it... Look, I was saying beforehand that you were saying about stewards, Philip, and the police have to do something. But if you were to go over to a steward and say that person's racially abusing, say, Sonny, right?
Yeah.
And then he gets evicted, but his mates are there. So you then yourself get abused. Is that what's putting off fellow fans from doing it, Philip?
Possibly, yeah, it is. Like it's. I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, and to go back to Matt Peter's point there about Italy, just to briefly digress on it. I mean, Italy is such a proliferation of right-wing politicians and supporters in Italy. I mean, Italy goes through more governments than, I think it's more governments than any other country on earth in the last 40 years. It's like, to me, it's always been a fascist state, and it still is. And the right wingers are gonna do what they like, thinking they can get away with it. Now, the thing about whistleblowing on your thing, it is a danger. Because if people know what you've done, you will get retribution against you. But you see that other than that, what do? If you let the guy walk away from the ground after the game and nothing happens, what can FIFA do? Nothing. What can UEFA do? They can do nothing.
No.
It's a horrible... Racism is the most horrible thing that there is, and unfortunately, you've got... I'm going to use my old mate Donald Trump again, who's absolutely promoting it in America at the moment. He's more or less going to send all the immigrants home when he gets elected. If I hope God he doesn't get elected.
We are going to cover the election nights on this channel. Actually, we're going to do that when there's the Irish election. We are going to cover a bit of the elections over here for you guys. Even for the general elections in the UK and America, we are going to cover them.
Yeah.
Just for see Philip's face when Donald Trump gets elected president again.
He won't get elected. I mean, I know there's a lot of foolish people in America, but there's not that many. If Donald Trump gets elected, America's finished. Absolutely finished. It'd be a dictatorship.
Philip, he will get elected. I'm telling you, he will.
No, I'm sorry. I think I've researched this one a hell of a lot more, and he won't. He'll think he will. His followers all think he will, but he won't.
But would you be up for doing that, streaming that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
The British one should be good, because I think Labour should win that.
Oh, Labour will win that one. Absolutely, yeah. As for our election, I don't know what's going to happen there.
Sinn Féin. Anyway, a bloody Arsenal fan took the piss out of Son. Yeah, I know. It's so true. Right. Matthew says, nobody deserves to get racism. In our society, this is not acceptable. Everyone is a human being. They deserve respect.
Yeah, but they don't look at it that way. Unfortunately.
Carl Simpson said, also, these idiots who racially abuse players of the opposition have black players in their own team.
Exactly.
As well. Yeah.
It's so hypocritical.
Yeah, it is. Mind you, it was a Spurs fan who threw banana skins on the pitch at Adderby. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, there's no excuse for that either. It doesn't matter what club. If a Spurs fan abuses another team's player, I will be right behind to criticize him. Absolutely.
Yeah, same here. Nathan said there should be a penalty for the whole stadium. There should be a proper camera settings everywhere. If there is an incident, it's proven guilty. This stadium match should be played in an empty stadium.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Very true.
That's a good point. Because the cameras, closed circuit TVs are everywhere. They can pick out the seat number and what this guy is sitting in, get his photograph out there, and they can deal with him.
Yeah. Philip, look, Are we getting to the point now where I was watching a documentary about this about a while ago, and it was at a Sheffield United game, and it was so badly organized between somebody reporting it to the police. It took them half an hour to get to the person. By the time they got there, the person had gone.
Yeah, that's quite possible. Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
does football look? Racism and football, sadly, is intertwined for decades and decades, Philip. Back to the 70s, 60s, 70s. Has there been a problem that's been kicked down the road, do you think, Philip, on more than one occasion? Taking the knee's not doing anything. That's the
No,
latest
no,
gimmick. And
no.
that is a gimmick. Taking the knee is a gimmick. Where it doesn't, it show they were doing it during the pandemic. Well, what's the point of doing it in the pandemic when there's no fans there?
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's taking the Colin Kaepernick thing in America. The American footballer did that, and
Yeah.
doing something like taking the knee. It might not mean anything, but it's better than doing nothing. At least it's acknowledging the problem and hoping people will realize. But it hasn't been any great effect. I mean, the racism, if anything, has increased over the last few months.
Yeah, and then what would you do? What message would you want to send out? I mean, we've had kick racism out, Philip. We've had that within the game coming out, and flags before when the players are coming out the tunnel. We've had taking the knee. We've had referees on the side kick racism out. We've had it on Sky show it when they do the scoreboard. None of it works, Philip. None of it hits the problem on the net, on the head. None of it seems to get through these people's thick skull. That is not okay.
Nathan's point might be better. The stadium, play behind closed doors. Don't allow any revenue to the club. That might be a way of making the clubs identify their fans that are doing whatever they're doing. That's what I'm saying. From the closed circuit TV and where they're sitting, we should be able to identify them. And
but as I said, Philip, it takes them half an hour to get from one.
Yeah, but that's probably an isolated incident. It should not take that long.
Yeah,
it should take 5 minutes maximum to get from one end of the stadium to the other. You know.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people don't like this sort of talk we're having, but I think it's worth having, and we're quite prepared to debate it, aren't we? Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I do, and we are prepared to debate because I think it's right to debate. I think it's right to put into a public setting that this is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
This is not acceptable. This is not right. Players, human beings, should not be racially abusing one another. And Colin Cross hits the nail on the head. Racial abuse is not only down to color, as you know, Dermot, being Irish, and yourself, Philip, as well.
Yeah,
being Irish, and all the racist abuse I got as a kid growing up in England at school, because my mother was from Northern Ireland, my father was from Ireland, and with all the problems up in the north, then my mother used to get refused she used to get refused going into a butcher. The butcher refused to give her meat because she was from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
I
was
and you know yourself, Philip, going over there back in the 60s, no blacks,
no dogs, no Irish,
no
dogs, no Irish. I remember after I wasn't living there at the time, but I had friends still living in England just after the Birmingham pub bombings in 1974, and that was the worst time ever to be an Irish person living in, because you're Irish, you're immediately associated with the crowd that did the bombing, and some of the abuse was shocking, and people literally had to move house because of slogans painted on their walls, windows smashed, Irish lives here written on the wall. It's horrendous, and that is exactly more or less what's going on today in a different now that they're aiming at footballers now.
Yeah, and look, I had it at school. Going to school, I was bullied at school because of me being Irish. And look, my accent is an English one, and I hate my accent, but I am Irish because of my parents and because of the way I was brought up. But I was abused. You were, Philip. I mean, living in England wasn't easy being Irish.
No.
And I'm telling you, it was not easy. As a young lad growing up in a town where I grew up, in this little city where I grew up, it was very racially motivated because of where you were from, and it's shocking. It is shocking. Big up Colin though, and he says, being Welsh, we have to put up terrible things over the. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we have to, and we have to. Which is not saying, oh, we're worse than the footballers, but we're just trying to make the example. It's been there.
But
Nothing's ever been done about it, and nothing will be done about it.
Something I want to say there about, I don't know if you ever watched that series Blackadder Goes Forth.
Yeah.
Some terribly racial comments in it. One particular woman, General Melchett's been out with George. I mean, he's dressed up as a woman, and Blackadder says, "There's something wrong with your fiance," and you know, "Oh my God, she's not Welsh, is she?" You know, I mean, that you couldn't get away with that today. You know,
Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Black 40 Towers.
Yeah, 40 Tower. Oh yeah, the major.
The major, yeah.
Oh, you couldn't even mention that now. You'd be fuck off. You know,
you would. Yeah. We just have.
It was more acceptable back then because that was around the time when the Irish were getting in the neck in England. It was okay to do it then. Not anymore.
So why should we, as a society, pay good money to go and watch a football game, have to sit and listen to that tripe? Where the
in all fairness, it's probably only isolated.
Yeah, but isolated or not, Philip, is it down to drink? Is it down to education? Is it down? Look, you can educate a person all you want. If they're that way in mind, they're that way in mind.
Yeah,
it's down now to the football authorities to come up with a plan, a foolproof plan that will nip this in the bud. We're in 2024, Philip, and we're still getting players being racially abused on football pitches. It is ridiculous.
It's not going to happen, Dermot. There's no way. I don't think there's any way. And there's no foolproof plan. You can reduce it. You can bring it down to maybe a quarter of what it is at the minute. You're never going to eliminate it. And even if you do, it'll come back under some other form.
Yeah.
You know, they'll find some other way of doing it.
Yeah.
And I think it's terrible. But as somebody rightly said, I mean, they're abusing black players, and chances are half their own team are black.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hypocrisy of that is just mind-boggling.
It is. We've got Wilton. Good morning, afternoon. For the question to you both: are footballers these days just robots? The game seems that way to me. No excitement. I think VAR has something to do with that.
VAR has taken the passion out of the game an awful lot of the time. I mean, you score a goal and you immediately react. Oh, you should have halfway. Oh, hang on, this could be offside. Sorry, lad. This is the call I was waiting on. Sorry.
All right. If Trump is elected, we're all finished. In Iowa, a poor turnout. The Republican primary voted only 51% for Trump. Those that may not vote for Trump for president, as that's significant. Maybe not. Big up to Peter M talking to Matthew. Nathan, given a ban for certain individuals won't make any difference. No, it won't. And it won't make a difference, Nathan. You're spot on that. Well, it just passes it on to his mate who does get in. Matthew, also, my state is ruled by the Communist Party, which is all good for community. Big up. Ban is an individual. Ban the individuals for life. You do that, Carl, but they come back in some way, shape, or form, and their mates or something like that. It's a group of them. So, yeah, look, I agree with you. Peter M, he's resigned. Oh, okay. So we're talking about that. Camilla has the best supporters club in the country. So, Coy's big up to Tequila. Be funny to see Trump get elected again. Tequila, it may well happen. And we'd love to see Philip's face if it does when we're doing the streaming. Never stop entertaining me, America. No, that is so true. I'm looking forward to the primary tomorrow night, actually. I do watch that. It's going to be a great crack. Afternoon, Dermo and Big Phil. Big up, Tequila. Hope you're doing well, sir. And I did message you back on Xbox, by the way. And Carl, I have sent you. I'll now find your friends requests and I'll add you on there as well, and we'll team up for a bit of VA Sports. Tequila, people are idiots, Dermo and Phil. We all know this. Just need to try to find a good one. It is a minority of idiots that are doing this, but it's down to the football associations, and I think FIFA and UEFA to come together. Every association in Europe to come together to come up with a plan that works. Works every day. Everyone can be racially abused for where you are from. I was attacked in the Highlands of Scotland once when I was stopped for a beer in a pub on my way up the country. That is shocking, Carl. That is absolutely shocking. Being born in England of Polish gents, I got shit at school, but I fought back. And so did I fought back as well. I didn't take it. Really didn't take it. Peter M, let me guess, so-called Australian painter supporter. In the 70s, Conservative Party had a slogan, if you want N-word living next door to you, vote Labour. That is shocking. That is shocking. It really is shocking. Look, my friend got attacked in Ireland by a bunch of blokes hit for hitting a woman. He wasn't. He was just asking for directions. It happens everywhere. It doesn't. Look, I'm embarrassed by some what happens in my country as well, especially at the moment. It's embarrassing. It's not right. It's not like the majority of these people in this country is. They're lovely. They're welcoming. They're great crack, but you got a minority of scumbags that think they have their right to tell everyone or dictate onto them what they feel like, and it's wrong. And it should be stopped. And this is where I think racial abuse in players, it is a society problem. It's not just a football problem. It's a society problem. So if the governments of the land cannot do anything, then it's down to us as individuals. If we see it happening, report it to a steward, report it to the police, get them lifted, get them out of there. We should not live in a society where we have to be afraid or go to a game which we love watching and feel uncomfortable because some knobhead it's decided to chuck out racial abuse at a player who's trying his best, who has family, who has feelings, who has probably parents watching him. It's gone too far. Enough is enough. It has to stop. It really does have to stop. Big up to Tequila. Go and watch American History X. Tells you all you need to know about racism. Yeah, it does. Sadly, I think the racism may be up again due to its. Yeah, I think so, Peter Rem. I think you're spot on with that. People from the North India call us South Indians, black people. Major. Yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. To be fair, Dragon D Nuts Tequila, great movie. Another one is Romper Stomper with Russell Crowe about Australian skinheads. Yeah, Peter Rem. Yeah, man. And Tequila, not seen that one. I will have to check it out. Dragon D Nut. Big up to Dragon D's Nuts. Welcome, sir. Look, we are going to stop there on that. But look, it's a society. And I did also was going to ask Philip as well. And I'm going to ask you guys. This is a question for you. And I want your response in the chat if you can. Does the Premier League, FA, FIFA, UEFA need to do more when it comes to racially abusing players? Does there have to be a better plan? Now, does there have to be a better plan within the football authorities that they have to stamp this out? And I think there has to be. I think there has to be a massive meeting with all the clubs, all the Premier League clubs. The Football League needs to have one with all the EFL clubs. And I think there has to be a broad supported 100% united front on this, that the EFL clubs are together, the Premier League clubs are together, that they're coming at one front. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to face the problem. This is our situation to fix the problem, and do it as a united front. There's no point the Premier League coming out with another initiative, or this is what we're going to do. Yeah, it has an effect for 5 minutes, and then it goes back down to what it was before. Every club in the Premier League has to get together and get behind one initiative. The EFL clubs have to all get together and come after one behind the same initiative. Everyone has to come behind the one banner. This has to be backed by UEFA. This has to be backed by FIFA. This has to be backed by all the leagues in Europe. That is one united front. Racism within football will not be tolerated. We will not stand for it. And they're all got to come out one day over the football weekend, do it completely as one. Maybe then we might get a bit of out there momentum behind it. Maybe then, once that's done, then come out with your other initiative, what you want to back that up with. But coming out and following an example, which was in America at the time of taking the knee, that was great. But it didn't continue what the message was. It got swooped up within what else was happening around the world at that time. It got swooped up by what was happening in society. We need the football people, the football authorities, UEFA, FIFA, the Premier League, the EFL, Serie A, La Liga, the Portuguese Super League, leagues like that need to come together. There needs to be a massive summit, a massive meeting, and come out with one united fix to fix this problem. Because if you don't come out with if you don't come out with a united initiative, this problem will always be there. Governments are there to sort out society's problems. We as football should have enough gumption in our brains to sort this out as a united front. I was just saying, Philip, that the Premier League, the EFL, UEFA, everyone has to come together one day over the football weekend. Every club in England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, wherever, come out with one message, a united across the whole of Europe. Every club in Europe, England, the Premier League, the Scottish League, come out with one united message. We will not accept this. And then start another initiative. Philip, taking the knee, got swiped up within what was happening around the world. The flag's coming out before kick out racism. These are all initiatives that were great for a while, but have now failed. Yeah, we have to have something bigger. Philip, this is something that has to stop. This is something that should not be accepted. In our society, in 2024, Philip, this should not be acceptable. But it is acceptable because the football authorities will not do enough to stop this, and it should be stopped, and it should be stopped now.
It's not just the football authorities. The football is only a small part of the racism problem.
Yeah, but
only a small part of it.
Yeah, but within
you
our
you can't blame the football authorities. They can only do. I mean, we've talked about this before. The football authorities have to work if they're going to do anything, work hand in hand with the law enforcement, right? Now you mentioned the government there. Governments of most countries couldn't organize a nun shooting a nunnery. They don't care, because if you look, I'll go back to the American situation there. Half of the right wing, the politicians and the Republican Party in America are racist, openly racist.
Yeah, but
they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything to pass legislation.
No,
to do away with racism because they support it.
Philip, what I'm talking about is what I said before you come out was the Premier League, the EFL need to have a meeting with all the clubs.
Yeah.
Forget society.
But
I'm talking
what's
about.
What's that going to do? You can meet every club in the world. You're not going to stop Joe Public sitting in row 57F at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium throwing a banana skin at an Arsenal player. That's not going to work. Because if somebody's racist, they are going to express their racism until such time as they are either arrested or kicked out of the ground and banned for life.
Then is Matthew's comment or Nathan's comment right? Then there should be a ban, then a stadium ban of games being played behind closed doors.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a great idea, because what that will do is that will hit the clubs in the pocket. Then they might install more security cameras, employ more stewards to keep an eye out for what's going on the ground. But other than that, it's just not going to go away. It's been there for hundreds of years, racism. It will not go away.
It's shocking, isn't it? In
it's
2024.
It's dreadful. But it was the same 50 years ago. It was the same during the Birmingham bombings, and the Irish got it. The Irish got it in America all over the years. The blacks in America, God love them, are still getting it in some places. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway.
Look, I do agree with you, Philip. It is a society problem, but I was talking just from a football point of view.
Yeah, but it's very hard with football to isolate it and get it done and fix up, get their house in order, because there's so many other houses need to be put in order as well.
So does this then go on to the sort, Philip, of an independent regulator might be a good thing for football then?
What can he do?
Could he come up with a better idea? Because any initiative.
Well, I wish him luck. I mean, if they haven't come up with something now, it's not there, Dermot. This has been going on for years. If somebody can't come up with a solution, it would have been inundated or implemented by now. There's no solution, because every generation that comes along is inbred from the previous one. I don't like black people. I don't like Irish people. And you make sure you express that every opportunity you get. And here we are. We're seeing it now. Football.
Can I just say, me and Philip are totally in agreement with this. If you think we're arguing, we're not.
Oh no, we are. We're totally in agreement. But I'm just skeptical if there is a solution to it. I really do. I think
skeptical. Philip's coming in from an older. No disrespect, Philip, but you're coming from a different generation's point of view to my generation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've come through the same thing, but in different generations, where I think your generation had it more worse than I did growing up. But look, it's something I think that needs to be sorted. For look, I didn't mean to spend so long talking about it. I really didn't, but it went.
Well, it's an important subject. It's an important subject, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a bit of good news on the screen now with players coming back. Hallelujah.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Big up to Nathan for the super chat again. Thank you so much, Mr. Brady. Would you like to read this out?
Madison is back. Solomon is back. Van der Ven and Romero back. Bentancur is getting his mojo back. Kulu and Ricarlison in form. Puro Adoji, we are back. We are. Listen, this is great. We're getting all our Madison back on Friday. It's probably the biggest news we've got.
The double is on. The double is on.
Here we go. Yeah, listen, you know, all I want to do is get past Manchester City next Friday.
Which we will do.
If we get past Manchester City next Friday, then Dermot, I will become as delusioned as you are, right?
Yeah, well, I'm
delusional. How about that?
Yeah, I'm delusional. Big up Nathan for the super chat. Thank you so
Nathan.
much.
Thank you very much.
Peter Rem says, great show. I like us discussing the wider social issues around football, which we will do on here. We will not. We will
no subject off limits here. No subjects off limits here.
It's something that we will not be scared to come forward on subjects, will we, Philip?
No.
No. Unless there's a. I mean, look, there's another. I've got a topic for you, but for another time. Yes, they need to do something to these players. Maybe we'll get mental pressure on all. Yeah. You look at Justin Fashionu's brother. Is it Justin Fashionew?
John Fashionew.
No, Justin Fashionew. What happened to him?
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know? Do you know?
Yeah.
That's another thing as well, Philip. Look what happened to him.
Yeah. No, I know. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, Carl Simpson. Yes, they have to do loads more, but I just don't know how they can stop these idiots from doing harm.
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Big up to Ellie, just to go live Spurs. I'm going for a meal with Theo. Just popped in Dermotron. The big up you and the great channel. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Ellie.
you, Ellie.
It means a hell of a lot. And I'm sure so.
Going out for a meal on the Monday night, Ellie. My God, that's the way to do it.
Night. She's having date night.
No, date night. Yeah.
Yeah. Enjoy the meal, Ellie. Bring me back a doggy bag. Cheers. Yeah. Bring us back one. I had the pleasure of meeting Theo and Ellie in Dublin.
Yeah. So did I. Yeah.
I love Theo. He's such a good lad, Theo.
Good crack. He's really good crack.
He is great crack. Considering he did fall asleep, bless him, when you were playing. Poor old Ellie.
Oh, well, I mean, that's my drumming normally sends people to sleep anyway. So
yeah, anyway, Chris says, "Good evening, Dermot and Philip and all. Most countries have legalized. Do you want to read this one?
Most countries have legislation of bigotry and racism, but it's not enforced by police or government, and they're the very people that have to enforce it. But it just shows you what the problems are there."
Ellie says, "Hi, Philip, to you, hon. Big up. You'll never beat the Irish. No, of course you
Thanks,
won't.
Ellie. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You never will.
Yeah.
Never will.
I always say that, Philip. You never beat the Irish. Unfortunately, some of these European countries are racist. Please leave a like for the DHFC Delight. All right, boys. Thank you, Tequila. We've got my channel, Full Time Sports Network, and his also Tequila's gaming podcast channel as well. Nethan says, Philip, stadium bans is the way to go. Just ban for a random fan won't do any good. The clubs should be held responsible. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. If you look at all the blacks and colored players out, if you took all the black and colored players out of any team, you wouldn't have enough for five-a-side.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's
true.
actually very true. Actually,
very true. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It is. Racism, Paul Jones, is bigger than football.
That's very true, Paul. Unfortunately, you're right.
It is. It is very true. We're going unbeaten for the rest of the season. Of course, we are.
Another one on the delusional train.
Yeah, he's on my train. Richarlison is still on the purple patch. I won't trust him. He will get us a few. Colin Cross says, boys, we can beat City this week and then lose to Newport in the next round. Curse of the sports.
So another by that, Colin, you're saying Newport are going to beat Manchester United. So
Wilton says racism is like cancer or cannot be eradicated from our society. It's generations.
Yeah, that's it.
That's so true. And then Carl Simpson, the temptation to add funny links is almost too strong. If you want to do. Now, Mr. Brady, we're going on to your favorite last subject of the show. Now we're going on to your favorite subject, referees and VAR.
Right.
Yeah. Now, what we're going to do then now, the Ivan Toney goal should Ivan Toney's goal against Nottingham Forest have been disallowed? Me and Philip disagree with this. This started a row back in the back room and in our studios. And, I think it was a great bit of gamemanship, a great bit of catching everyone off guard. I haven't got a problem with it. I really don't have a problem what he did.
If he'd done it against Tottenham, would you have a problem? Now is the question. If he'd done it against Tottenham, yeah, I think it doesn't matter who he did it against. He was cheating. He did cheat marginally. I know that it's only a few. He only moved it a few inches, but that few inches was enough to get it inside the post. So I think yes. I disagree. I think the referee should have disallowed the goal.
Yeah. I'll just see what Carl's put in. It's quite funny.
You can't buy a break, but his uncle did win 100. Yeah. He probably had 100 quid that he stole from the first free kick he took or something, you know?
Yeah. DHM, yes, that was cheating move. We got Talking Bear. Big up Talking Bear. It was so, I agree. That's why I'm
But it was still against the spirit of the game.
Yeah. Now, former referee Dermot Gallagher says Ivan Toney's free kick goal against Nottingham Forest was valid for being awarded and believes it should have not been disallowed. So,
well, it wasn't disallowed, so it was all right.
But anyway, Philip, this is it here. This is him, setting up the ball. I would argue with the Nottingham Forest defence.
They're not looking at him. They should have been. They should have been looking at him to keep an eye on it. They obviously saw it, but didn't think it was anything going to happen. Yeah. If that ball had gone wide, there wouldn't have been a word about it. The fact that he scored, that's what all the furore is about. You know?
Now, VAR's decision was no intervention possible. Now, this is him again moving it forward. That he actually just not moved the ball forward, Philip. He moved the spray forward, the foam forward as well. Right. He actually picked the foam up with his hand and moved it forward.
Yeah. That to me is cheating.
For me is a great bit of gamemanship.
I'm sure Nottingham Forest fans don't think of that, and I certainly, if he'd done it against Tottenham, we'd be up in arms about it.
Yeah, I just find it's brilliant. Now Forest have appealed to the Premier League and the PMGLO. Nuno has said that he was asked about his players and said they need to be more mature about situations, Philip, about this. So. Yeah. I'm going to disagree with you. You saying it was shit, I don't think it was, but
well, let's hope he didn't have a bet on it anyway.
Yeah. Now, Philip, possible handball. Moppo when scoring. Now, what happened was Neil Moppo put Brentford in the lead in the 68th minute when he took control of a pass from Modes Rosley, turned and fired into the bottom corner. The VAR, Michael Salisbury, checked for a possible handball by the striker. VAR decision, goal stands. Now, this is the VAR review, Philip. When Moppo received the ball on the edge of the area, his first touch led to the ball bouncing off his chest before he hit the shirt. There were some appeals for handball from the Forest players, but there was no evidence in the replays that he had touched the arm of the player. If it had, the goal would have automatically been ruled out for accidental attack on handball immediately before it was awarded. Do you think VAR was right in this, Philip, or do you think this is another rule of handball that they can't get right?
Oh, God, I didn't actually see this one, but they're saying it hit another part of his body before it hit his arm.
No, they're saying that he controlled it with his arm.
Okay, but did it hit his chest first or something? This thing about hitting another part of the body first. Listen, I'm coming to the conclusion now. If the ball hits your hand at all now, it's handball. It's the only way to get around it because there's so many other different permutations of it is, it isn't, it isn't. And I think he got away with one there. That was handball and should have been disallowed.
Now, this game yesterday caused Liverpool against Bournemouth. Liverpool won 4-0. Philip go 8 points clear of Tottenham in the league. I've tipped Liverpool for the league, apart from Tottenham, Liverpool to win the league. I think they will win the league. Possible red card on Culvert challenge on Diaz. What happened was Justin Kluivert had the ball in the center of the park in the 35th minute. It ran away from him slightly. There was a clash with Luis Diaz. Referee Andy Madley saw nothing wrong with the incident as Diaz went down injured. Play continued on for a short time before Liverpool put the ball out so he could be treated. VAR decision, no red card. Now, we've got a few selections here, Philip. Red card sent off after VAR reviewed it against us, right?
Yeah.
Not a red card. And then you got the Romero situation against Chelsea as well, which was a red card, which we don't think it was a red card. So, Philip, look, you've seen that Chelsea there. That's on William against Fulham.
Yeah.
We got
Red card.
got the challenge on Basuma,
Yeah,
which was a red card, and then you got this challenge on Diaz from Cliver, not a red card.
that's true. That was a red card all day long. That one. Look how high up his ankle he is. He's stamping down on it.
So where I'm getting to the point now, Philip. Do we know what is rules for what a red card is and what?
No, we don't. We don't. Because I class those 4 incidents as being very, very similar. They've all gone over the top of the ball. They're connected with the ankle or the shin or whatever. Some of them are red cards and some of them are not. To my mind, every single one of them is a red card. But why only half of them are given is up to the individual on the VAR desk, who obviously has his own interpretation of the rules. And that is the problem. Nobody has the same. They're not singing up the same hymn sheet. They're all coming up with their own attitude on us. And until that's righted, VAR is going to continue to make mistakes. And that is a red card all day long.
And can I also say the VAR man for the Forest game, he's coming back again. And he was the VAR man for the Manchester United Wolves game. So, we all know what happened there. Yeah.
Is that when Mike Tyson had a go at the Wolves player with a right hook? Didn't get sent off for it.
This game now, this is a Sheffield United against West Ham. Barney the Dinosaur is still in Sheffield at this time. He is making his way back to London, by the way. I got checked this morning. Now, possible red card, Brewster challenge on Emerson. What happened was Emerson had the ball near the touchline when Brewster challenged referee Michael Salisbury, produced the yellow card, but VAR Robert Jones quickly began to check for a possible red card. VAR decision, red card. VAR said very easy decision, one which should have been spotted on the field by either the referee or his assistant. We can talk about how many serious foul play situation where the contact point on the armchair was. So this was overturned to a red card, Philip. Have they got a point that tackle should have been quickly realised by either his assistant or the referee to straight off red card instead of going to VAR?
It's another indication the referees abdicating their responsibility, knowing the VAR will bail them out.
Yeah,
the referee should have seen that. And to be honest with you, I looking at that angle there, okay, it probably was a red card when he followed through. But I mean, if he did make connection high up the ankle or high up the leg, the referee should have done it, sent him off straight away, and no need for VAR. But that's not happening now. They're missing things like that and letting VAR bail them out of it. So again, bad.
And you look at the Sheffield United West Ham game in the FA Cup where there was no VAR. I thought the referee had a fantastic game up there, Philip.
Because he had to.
Yeah.
They had no one to rely on. He had to do it. Yeah.
And he did get the sending off right, by the way. The West Ham played for kicking out. He got that spot on. Now, Mr. Salisbury, it's time to redeem yourself. Probably not good for Wolves. But anyway, possible penalty overturned. The goalkeeper's foul on McBurney. What happened was Sheffield United were awarded penalty in the 8th minute of added time when the referee ruled that the goalkeeper, Sheffield United, the West Ham goalkeeper,
had Fabianski, it's Areola.
Yeah. Oliver McBurney, when he challenged going for a high ball, there was a plenty of time for the VAR checkers. Oliver received treatment for a blow to the head. Now, Philip, VAR actually did check, and it was a case of penalty stand scores by Sheffield United.
I think that's very dodgy decision, to be honest. He's obviously going for the ball there.
Yeah.
You know, you can see his arm coming through on the ball.
Now, here's the kicker. VAR review. Referee Salisbury was in the VAR change at the start of the season, and we were coming on that night. You, me, and Mir. And we're all talking about that. We had the game on in the background, and you shouted out, "That's a penalty," and it wasn't given. I remember you that night going ballistic over it as well, Philip. When Wolverhampton didn't get an injury time penalty in Manchester United, went trailing 1-0. Goalkeeper had clattered intercessor Kalachi. Both referees Simon Hooper and Salisbury saw it as a coming together. PGMO quickly moved to say it had been a mistake and spot kick should have been awarded, with the officials being let off the next set of appointments. Philip, look, do you think he got this? Do you think it was him trying to rectify his mistake, or do you think he got his decision spot on?
He got that one wrong as well. That wasn't a penalty, in my opinion. Well, you know, there was contact. But what is the goalkeeper supposed to do? We say, would you mind getting out of the way while I come for the ball? You don't. The goalkeeper comes out and cleans the forward away. That's always been accepted part of the game, but not under Mr. Salisbury.
Now, did you see
he's still trying to work? He's still trying to get his reputation back from that United situation.
the game the other night, it was over a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it? I saw it Match today where Luton Town got an equaliser against Burnley when they said the goalkeeper, Burnley goalkeeper, was fouled by the Luton player, but the goal was given. Do you know what I mean? Is there a new law coming in that certain bits of refereeing on goalkeepers is lightening a little bit than what it used to be?
I don't know. I just don't know. All I can say is if that was a penalty yesterday, then Bobby Smith would have been sent off every game he played for Tottenham, the way he went in on goalkeepers.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know.
Now, this is in the same game as a possible penalty on Bowen. And what happened was West Ham went on the attack looking for a winner in the minutes still remaining. As a cross was played in from the right, Joed Bowen went to ground under pressure from the Sheffield United defender. West Ham's players appealed for a spot kick, but the referee Salisbury gave a free kick to Sheffield United for handball. But Bowen, the ball hit his raised arm. VAR decision, no penalty. Now
that's a funny one. That's a hard one to judge.
Now that was the second part of it, Philip. That's the start of it. That's how it ended.
Yeah. Was the foul before he hit his arm or after? That's
now, for what I know, the foul happened. When it was being pushed over, your hand would go up anyway, Philip.
Yeah.
So his hand's going to touch the ball because you're trying to brace yourself for falling. It's a natural.
Yeah.
Now, is that a penalty then? In my view, yeah, it is a penalty.
I'd say that under the letter of the law, yes, it probably would be a penalty. But I'd say what happened there is the referee was after making the controversial decision. And apparently that first penalty for Sheffield United, it took VAR about 5 minutes to decide on.
Yeah, it did.
So I think he said, I'm not going through this again. And he just said, no penalty. I think if the other penalty hadn't been given, that one probably would have been.
Yeah. Just to go through a few of the chats, we've got DJ Samuel on the Tony thing. Yeah, that was cheating move. Poor old Tony. Oh, yeah, we did that one. It was that one, Colin Cross, in rugby where the ref put the spot down. That's where you play it from. Right. We have got rugby coming back, haven't we, Mr. Brady? We're talking about
Friday week.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I'm with you, Philip. He will not get re-elected.
Yeah, he won't.
Tony truly does belong at Arsenal. Yeah, he does.
That's true. Yeah.
Ronnie, big up, Ronnie. How you doing, sir? He says,
be right at home there. Be right at home.
Yeah. Nathan says should be another ban for Tony. Carl Simpson as well. Hang on, I'm getting some. Now I've got some news coming in. Do you want to go through the rest of the chat, Philip? I've got some breaking news. Very quickly.
Yeah, hang on a second. Yeah, it's 1 second now. Where are we now? We should have got a red. Let's go back up to where we are. Okay, and Colin is saying VAR in slow motion should not be allowed. It makes things look worse. Well, that's true. And Barney, Matthew, how many? Forget Hale Barney, poor old Barney.
Poor Barney.
Said, a penalty for me, and Bowen should definitely not have been a penalty. Screw West Ham. True, yeah. And Jishnu Raju, that's a nice, lovely name. Nusa seems like a wide playmaker. Sancho more of an all-rounder who can come off the flank and spread play, find runners as well as beat men down the line. Not great, but pretty good one-on-one. He's only young, so, he'll learn. I think he'd be a good buy for us, And Carl Simpson saying Bowen only wanted to cuddle.
Bless.
That's all the chat.
Yeah, a bit of breaking news, Philip, and despite referees and what we're talking about. The crackdown on refereeing mistakes is set to take a massive step up next season with harsher bans, demotion of games, example Premier to Championship or League One, etc. And if it's found that the ref has had 100% without certain negative effect of a full match result, fines up to including £75,000 could be issued. Is that too late then?
Yeah, it's terrible that they have to threaten referees with fines to get them to do their job right.
Yeah.
That's really it, I mean, they shouldn't have to do that. But let's hope it has an effect that there's not so many mistakes next season.
Now, Mr. Brady, that is the end of Newsbeat for Monday. What a show.
Good.
What a show. It was a great show. I enjoyed that. A lot of chats, a lot of ways of
good intelligent conversation there from the lads in the chat there and the ladies. Very good.
not a lot of Spurs transfer news. I am waiting a load of news to come through. So, Philip, what we've got coming up this week? We've got a lot of pre-records coming up for the members.
Yeah, pre-records, and then I'm away from Wednesday, but I'll be around in and out of the channel for next week or so with pre-records. And then we've obviously got to watch along on Friday night. There's a game at I don't know who we're playing. There's some team from up north. Manchester something or other. Yeah.
Manchester.
That Manchester ladies team, is it?
No, it's Manchester, the team that will be relegated to the Highlands League.
Yeah. And just when I mention it, can I just say big up to the Tottenham ladies team last night? They won hell of a game against West Ham.
Yeah,
beat them 4-3 in the end, and there was about 15 minutes of injury time played in the second half. I don't know what happened, but I was following on. You hang on, 112 minutes is still going, you know. So yeah. 102 minutes.
We've got the rugby coming back as well in the second of the Six Nations, where I was still
Ireland and France. Well, how many points for conversion, Dermot? How many points for conversion?
4.
Oh Jesus! I've got a serious amount of work to do with you on that. So
I will be asking you, Philip. You know full well I'll be asking you during that stream. Also on the F1 channel from the 28th of February, I will be covering the practice sessions for Formula One. Maybe get Philip in it as well on the Sunday. Maybe you can watch it with me and join me.
Is that February or January?
February.
Oh, okay.
The end of February, because the start of the season's the following week. The two races are on Saturday this year because it's Ramadan or something to do it within the Muslim country, so they have to race on Saturday. But we've got watch alongs this week. Tomorrow night we've got the Middlesbrough Chelsea watch along. Now, Philip, 10 of the best football managers, our little debate. That is going to be a pre-record.
Yeah. And we've got some very good, very controversial decisions. Who are the best 10 now?
Yeah, Philip nicked the best, and I had to really think of my 5. To be fair.
Yeah, I tell you, one of his is Christian Growth. That shows you how bad it was.
Yeah. Also, George Graham did come into the conversation. What we are going to do with it, guys, and we're going to get you on this as well. Me and Philip, with you guys' help, we want to pick our all-time World Cup 11 from 1962 to the last World Cup. Now, me and Philip are going to do I'm going to pick my own 11. Philip is going to pick his 11. Now, this is going to go out in a couple of weeks' time. Now, that's going to be a tough one, Philip. But we're not going to tell each other who our 11s is.
No, that's going to be really tough. I can think of would be two players off the top of my head now who are put in it, and the rest are going to have to research.
I can know one player I put in, Maradona, and probably the original Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I know who my back 4 is going to be. I know my back 4 will be Bobby Moore, Franz Beckenbauer, Roberto.
You're giving it away already. Come on,
I know this is going to be my back 4.
Yeah, but don't be telling everybody now. Only spoil the surprise.
Gary Doherty says that.
It's like going to an Agatha Christie play and it's all right. The butler done it at the very start before you even get them watch the play. You know.
Yeah, we don't know. I might even pick that. I could be send them on to the false sense of security, Philip.
No, that's true.
Christian Gross and David Pleat and Jack. They were. Yeah, they were.
And the best centre half ever to play for Spurs.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Dermo to be. I'm waiting for Dermo to he liked FH. I forgot to stop the clock. The cock. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
the ginger Pele.
Well, Philip, we've got big up columns coming in to have 120 points for a conversation.
Yeah.
How many
conversion?
Yeah, conversion.
For conversation.
We've got Matthew saying Matthew Rainbow 115 breaches FC.
Yeah, that's them. That's who we're playing on Friday. Yeah.
And Matthew saying good night to comrade Dermot, comrade Philip, and always Hell Barney. Yeah, Hell Barney the dinosaur.
Hell Barney.
Listen, Philip, thank you for a great show.
No problem.
Bad numbers again. I'm absolutely shocked by the numbers we've got today. Yeah, we're back. If there's any major news, I will be back later. But there is no news at the moment. But me and Philip are going to get. So the 10 of the best will be set to you members first. You will get early access to that show, and then it will be released then to all your other people that haven't got memberships. then afterwards. But watch out for that. It's going to be a good one. Me and Philip tried to pick the 10 best Football League managers since 1960 to
62. Yeah, since around the Spurs double era from then on.
Anyway, on that bombshell,
on that bombshell, I ain't going back to work.
You'll go back to work. Thank you all for watching. We will be back later. Come on, you Spurs in Big Ange.
Come on, you Spurs.